My name is Lindsay Lee Hobson, and I work with organisations to elevate their emerging leaders and create the ultimate next generation of leadership. I'm also the founder of the Learning and Development Collective, where driven and passionate L&D professionals come together to exchange trending topics and innovative ideas and the best suppliers for their training calendars. And I'm here with one of our amazing forum members, Danielle Dobson from Co-Conversations. Welcome, Danielle.
Hi, Lindsay. So great to be here. I'm so excited. Thank you.
We are so happy to have you here because you're actually coming to run a training for us in the Learning and Development Evolution, which is a new program in the metaverse where L&D professionals support the career development and actually elevate themselves in their roles and in their organizations. And I'm super excited to have you join us, not just because you're a forum member, not just because you're an amazing friend of mine, but also because your topic is something they've requested. And I believe it's such an important topic for us as L&D professionals, but also just as humans too. So tell us about the training you're doing with us next week.
I am so excited about it because I love the context of doing this within L&D, and it's about L&D opportunities to promote equality in the workplace, and that's one of my huge passions. So I'm really excited about what I've put together and what I'm going to share with everyone next Friday.
100%. And before we dig deep into that and into the impact that can have for L&D professionals and why it's your area of genius, why you know so much about this, because honestly, I don't know many people that know more about it than you. You're an absolute expert. Before we even dig into that, tell us a little bit about you and day in the life of being a Danielle at Co-Conversations.
Oh, that's a great question. And I guess, where do I start? I think it is really actually important to start at the start of the day, like in terms of a day in a life, to go a little bit more granular, because it's so important, that foundation that you have in the day. So I'm up early at 5, before everyone else, before all the human alarm clocks get up. I'm a mother of 3 boys, and I get my power drink together and my power drink for everyone else, and do some mindfulness, like meditation, my qigong, and then I go out and do my exercise. And I find that that is really important to give to myself before I give to the world. And then I'm not constantly, wanting the time, trying to get the time, trying to carve out time for myself. I've had the time, and it's a brilliant foundation. So that's kind of the start of my day. And it's a morning routine that I learnt when I lived in Beijing over 10 years ago. And then I have an evening routine, a similar bedtime one. And then the rest of the day just flows, I guess. And there's a lot of running around in the family, but also brilliant, interactions with clients and colleagues and collaborators, doing all sorts of things, coaching, facilitation, speaking, coach, advisory and consulting. So that's a day.
Oh, wow. Busy. And your particular area of expertise is such a big one, as we said before, but you're coming in specifically to the Learning and Development Evolution to help us create better L&D opportunities that will promote equality in the workforce, specifically male-dominated industries. So tell us a little bit about why that's such an important area for you and the impact that has for us as L&D professionals.
It is so important, because if we look at the way that equality in the workplace, in the home, and more broadly has evolved up until now, there's been a lot of brilliant people doing some brilliant work in all sort of different spaces. But a lot of the focus has been on women, in terms of women and leadership programs in the workforce, upskilling women to sort of adjust and adapt to the world that was created for men by men. And that's no disrespect, that's just the way of the world, that's how it is. So a lot of the focus has been on women. But I'm focusing more on the whole entire context and environment. So home, work, community, and looking at how that impacts everything we do, and helping everyone to understand that they play a part in this. And there's bonuses and benefits in it for everybody. So that's where I'm focusing. And of course, still on individual women and men who need and benefit from one-on-one support. So that's where my focus is And being professionally raised as a CPA many years ago and working in majority male and male-led organisations and industries like mining and construction and engineering services, I've got a really solid background and understanding from the inner perspective, the inner sanctum. I used to present to these guys. They're all guys, like CEOs and board members, and so I understand their world, I guess. So I've come back into the machine with some different skills, some different experiences, and a different approach to move the needle on this.
Yes, and I think that's so important as well, because there's so many people out there that are talking about this from a symptomatic perspective, like treating the symptoms. And I mean, there's so many people that are not as well. But one of the things I really appreciate about your approach is it's about creating a different foundation to work from, so that it's not having to give slaps on the wrist or have those difficult conversations down the track if things are not going to plan. It's about saying, no, this is the foundation we're creating it from, and let's build something that's better for everybody, which is so incredibly powerful. And some of the work that you do, I mean, do you work primarily with females or men or organizations? Tell us a little bit about that and how what you've done in the past and what you're doing right now is helping L&D professionals or just team members in general have a better outcome.
Yes, great question. And interestingly, it all started with women in terms of my, coaching and consulting and this business of code conversations. Like I mentioned before, I was mostly surrounded by men in my corporate life. So yeah, I did have a big focus on women because I actually also, another feather to my bow, I was a personal trainer for a little bit. So yeah, I'm a certified personal trainer and a wellness coach, and I accumulated all these skills and accreditations along the way to find the answer to these big questions around gender inequality, well-being, and discrimination. So so I did specialize in women, but what I find is most of my clients now are half-half. So a lot of my marketing and outreach is to women, but I actually work with men as well, in particular around, one-on-one around their well-being. And then also I talk mostly and work with organisations that are majority male and male-led. So it is actually really across the board. And I actually, it's not unintentional. I go for organisations who do have these challenges because there's not a lot of benefit in preaching to the converted. There are some brilliant people doing brilliant work on that, but where I see there's a real opportunity is in organisations that need the most help and support and non-judgmental guidance. So that's where I see my edge.
I love it. And as L&D professionals in the evolution, even forum members who might want to join us for this session as well. And if you are a forum member watching this and you're like, what is the evolution, or how can I get in on this training session with Danielle, just message me or comment wherever you're seeing this, reach out and I can get you in for the next training, which is very exciting. One of the things that, from your training session, Danielle, I'd really love to know or understand and share with everybody in the forum too that may be watching this, what sort of results people will be able to achieve off the back of your training? Like, what are some of the nuggets of gold you'll be sharing with us?
So there are some really key foundational concepts, ideas, and elements to understand in order to really make a difference. And I talk a lot about the gender code, exposing it, decoding it, and recoding it. So I've got some a framework and some models that I'm going to share, and some personal stories and some case studies and success stories, I guess, in terms of what organisations have created for themselves and what I've helped them co-design. So for like one organisation in particular was a construction industry, construction company. We co-designed an event that included interviews from 5 people across the organisation. So we really got the insider's perspective, and it was a combination of male and female. So we got their perspective on the benefits and barriers of women in the workforce in their specific organisation. We tied it to the strategic, operational, and people objectives of the organisation to be a top 1% employer. So that got the what's in it for me factor out of the way, because there's no point having events that are optional or, learning and development opportunities if people aren't going to take them up. So you've got to get them in and make it attractive. So that's sort of what we tied it to. And yeah, we created a respect playbook, from the ground up. And then we had some really brilliant feedback afterwards from men, and I get this quite a bit actually after presentations and facilitations. They're like, oh, it was just such a relief to be part of an event or an opportunity where I didn't feel judged and that it was my fault for everything that's gone wrong. And with that, straight away they can engage. There's an opportunity to then open up rather than crossing the arms and enduring, So, and that provides a foundation for whatever organisations want to do next. And I can help with that. But it might be a foundation for a larger awareness campaign or behaviour change campaign or anything like that. But it's so important to get people on board, to start that behaviour change, to embed it into culture. And that's where I see, this training session is really going to help with that.
Oh, I love that, because that's one of the biggest pain points I hear in the forum for L&D members. They're talking about how you can put something together and then people just don't show up, or they don't come to it, or they show up and they just half-ass it. It's that sort of thing. So getting people on board, especially with such an important topic, in a way that they're not going to feel judged and they're not going to feel like they're being told off, I think is so incredibly important. And it's a skill set. So we are so excited for you to come and join us in the evolution training, Danielle. Before we wrap up today's interview, I would love to know your mic drop moment. What's the one thing, the one message that you want to leave our evolution members with, and anyone watching this interview as well?
Okay, so I guess my biggest takeaway would be that change is possible, that when people are able to see the brilliance in themselves, acknowledge it and connect with it, that they're better able to connect with themselves, with everyone else, and with nature. And then with that, they build the confidence in who they truly are, and they bring the best of who they are to everything they do. And they're able to navigate the rapidly evolving world of work and relationships and build their own code.
Yay, I love that so much. Boom. Thank you so much for coming to this interview and sharing so much of your expertise and your goals so generously with us today, Danielle. It's setting a beautiful tone for the training to come next week. We're really looking forward to it. As I said, our members have requested this specifically, so really happy to invite you in. And if you are a forum member or just someone watching this and you're an L&D, please reach out and let me know if you'd like to join us for this training. Our members receive 24/7 access to our co-working space in the metaverse, including the resource library where all our past sessions were recorded and you have ability to go back and access that, plus all the future sessions to come. So comment below, message me, reach out. We cannot wait to see you at next week's training.